Someone on your street buys an electric car and says the running costs are tiny. No servo stops, no petrol cycle, just plug in at night and wake up ready. Then the first bigger power bill lands and suddenly the question changes. It is not, are EVs cheaper? It is cheaper for which household using which charger at which electricity price. Most families are not doing laboratory driving. They are doing school runs, market trips, work commutes, hot afternoons with air conditioning, and weekend errands that never fit neatly into a brochure. The super cheap EV number usually assumes off-peak electricity, efficient driving, and disciplined overnight charging. That can be real, but it is not automatic. The useful reframe is simple. Do not compare electric versus petrol in theory. Compare your actual weekly routine. Where will the energy come from and how often will you pay public prices? Home charging is where the electric car story is strongest. If you can charge where you park, you can turn most driving into a quiet household utility cost instead of a petrol station habit. But many homes are on a flat electricity rate. At around 32 cents per kilowatt hour, the saving is still there, but it does not feel like free driving. There is also a small invisible leak in the maths. The car does not receive every bit of energy drawn from the wall. Charging losses mean the bill can be a little higher than the dashboard suggests. A plug-in hybrid sits in the middle. It can cover ordinary local driving on battery, then keep petrol as the backup for longer trips or weeks when charging is inconvenient. That is the surprise. Petrol feels separate. Home charging hides inside the power bill, so the saving is real while the bill feels bigger. Petrol is the familiar choice. It is quick, easy, and works almost anywhere. The catch is that every stays exposed to fuel prices, service costs, and that monthly feeling of being dragged back to the servo. A pure EV feels best when your home supports it. If the car sleeps beside a charger most nights, the running cost can become predictable, quiet, and much lower than petrol. The hurdle is access. Renters, apartment owners, and homes without off-street parking may rely on public chargers, and that can shrink the saving very quickly. A plug-in hybrid can suit families who mostly drive locally but still want easy long trips. The catch is discipline. If you do not charge it regularly, it becomes a heavier petrol car. Quick check-in. If you were choosing today, would you pick petrol simplicity, pure EV savings, or the plug-in hybrid middle ground? Tell me in the comments, because the right answer really depends on the household routine. Public charging is convenient, but it feels more like a paid refuel. It can still beat petrol, but the gap is no longer the dramatic number people quote at barbecues. For road trips, the question is less about daily savings and more about patience. Where are the chargers, how busy are they, and how much will those faster stops cost? Running cost is not only energy. Electric cars usually have fewer routine service items, while petrol cars bring oil changes, filters, and more wear. Here is the key comparison. A home-charged EV on a normal flat rate might land around 7 or 8 cents per. A petrol car can be closer to 17 cents. That gap is meaningful because driving repeats. A few cents per does not sound dramatic at the kitchen table, but over years it can quietly become thousands of dollars. But this is where the brakes go on. If the electric car costs much more upfront, the running cost saving needs time to catch up. A cheap-to-run car is not automatically a cheap life decision. Rely heavily on fast chargers and the story changes again. The EV can still be cheaper, but the win becomes smaller, especially if most of your happen away from home. There are also softer risks. Battery health, resale value, and future technology changes can make buyers nervous. Not because EVs are bad, but because the market is still growing up. Petrol has its own trap, familiarity. It feels simple because we know the routine, but simple does not always mean cheaper, especially when fuel prices jump and servicing keeps coming. So the decision is not about Team EV or Team Petrol. Your parking, budget, and ownership timeline matter more than the badge. Here is the everyday life blueprint. Before choosing the car, test the routine, not the marketing claim. Not the best case calculator, your actual week. First, ask where the car sleeps. If you can charge at home most nights, the EV case becomes much stronger. If you cannot, treat public charging as your real baseline. Second, check your electricity tariff. The number on your bill matters more than the number in a review article. Flat rate, off-peak rate, and solar all change the answer. Third, map a normal week. Short local trips, home charging. Long regular highway trips make charging speed, public pricing, and range much more important. Fourth, decide how long you keep cars. The running cost advantage needs time. If you change vehicles quickly, the purchase price and resale uncertainty matter more. Write down this simple formula: parking, tariff, weekly, years kept. If those four line up, electric can make a lot of sense. If they do not, slow down and compare carefully. The goal is not to pick the car that sounds online. The goal is to choose the car that fits your household routine, keeps the budget calm, and still feels sensible after the first few bills arrive. If you are also weighing up solar or batteries, watch the next guide on whether home energy upgrades really pay back. This video is general information only. Your best choice depends on your household, usage, budget, and timing.